welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. It's Jem here and today we are back for another colour along in Dromenvanger by Tomislav Tomic. We are fairly well on with this page now and you can see that I have been doing my homework on this side also, so that's pretty good. I'll just scoot everything over a bit. I have been doing a little bit of colouring before I started filming. I was waiting on Mr. Jem coming back and I thought I would just sneak in some colouring. Alright, so the aim of the game today, I am thinking, is we shall do our beetles and then we'll have a go at these stalks for the smaller mushrooms, and we'll just colour in this sort of stray greenery that's floating about, and that'll let us just finish off the remainder on the next video. So I'm hoping that the next video after this one will be the last video. I say I'm keeping up my extracurricular colouring on this side. You can see that's kind of coming on a bit now and I'm almost caught up with what's going on over here. So I'm at that stage with this. I'm very much enjoying colouring this, but in terms of filming these videos for the channel, I feel as if it's time for this to come to like its natural conclusion because it seems to have been going on for a while. I think this might be like the 9th video or something. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, I hope that you are all well today and you're looking forward to just having a nice relaxed time, and maybe you've got something to colour or draw yourself. So grab your beverage of choice and we can get started. Alrighty-ho. So we're going to start over this side here, and I am back with the 120 set of Arteza Expert pencils, and I'm using very similar colours in these stalks to the main toadstools, so they are going to be quite similar. But if I just show you very quickly over here, you can see that they're a wee bit darker, and again, just because they're set back, I just wanted that sort of, you know, like a differentiation, a wee bit of variety. So I'm going to do the same on this side as well. And I'm starting off with camel. So I'm just going to get a layer of this down on all of the stalks first. I've got the window open. My wasp's nest has been dealt with outside the cave window, so I've got the window open today, and there's a wee bird sitting up on the window ledge outside and it's chirping a wee tune to me. Obviously wants to say hello to everybody. Okay, we'll get on with some of these as well. There's quite a lot of these actually in this bottom part here. I didn't think there was quite as many of these. But yeah, just a quick skim of camel over everything. And then we'll spend, once we've done that, we will spend a little bit of time just making sure that we get some detail in. This should actually be a lot darker in here, because that's clearly the ground in there, so I'll pop some of that in there. That's just the nearest dark pencil that I had to hand. It doesn't match the background, but nobody will know it's there unless I point it out, so. There we go, another one of these. Oh, look at this cheeky chappy hiding in here. Oh, there's a wee bit of leaf missing there as well. So again, I've got like a selection of greens out anyway. There's forest green, so I'll just pop a wee bit of that in there. There, nobody will know the difference. Yeah, okay, back to my camel pencil. Back to my camel. I think that this might be part of this one. Oh, that are a really big stone, and this part obviously belongs to this one here. So we'll just pop that down in there just now. Alright. Right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to grab the raw umber, which you can see I've had to put a label on now as well because the writing has started to rub off this and it's getting to be quite a short pencil. I've also got the gold pencil here as well, just for funsies. So we're just going to start by adding in some shadow areas with the raw umber. Make sure I get a wee point on the go first. So the likes of in here, that's kind of an obvious place where it's going to be a little bit darker, but I want to bring this down this side here as well, because we do want to make this reasonably interesting for ourselves. Do this one here. And I think in behind here is going to be fairly dark as well, so get some raw umber down in there. And we'll lighten it up as it comes up. Now this one sort of in behind here, I'm just going to make this dark because it is, you know, it's kind of like tucked in behind everything. And we've always said a light source is coming roughly from maybe that sort of direction. So I would imagine that a lot of these parts in at the back would be in shadow. So I'm going to put a light layer of this down on this one here, and maybe just a bit heavier around some of these areas. Okay, there we go. So we'll work on this little group of three here. So I've got my gold as well, and I just want to pop some of that down. There's actually quite a nice little glimmer to this pencil, which is kind of cute. Okay, looking okay, looking okay. So let's move on to these little ones here. I don't have much exciting news at the moment. All of our renovation work is put on hold because we're struggling to get workmen. So there's not really an awful lot getting done in the house, and I was kind of hoping to press on a bit and get some more done before harvest started, and we are now literally like a week away from harvest, because once harvest starts everything else comes to a standstill. It's my least favourite time of year. I would take 2 lambing seasons over one harvest any day of the week. Any day of the week. Okay, I have got a wobbly core again. I can see that this pencil, you know, it might not last the rest of this this picture, and that concerns me slightly because this is one of the pencils that comes with the 120 set, so I do not have a spare one of these, and I'm not buying a full set of Arteza pencils just for one raw umber, so that's a problem. Plus as well, they seem to be out of stock absolutely everywhere, so that's a problem. Okay, right, there we go, I've kind of got a tip on that. Yeah, this is out the new set. I don't think there is another one of these. That's really concerning. Okay, so I'm thinking this one in here is going to be quite dark. Yeah, so just because of lockdown, we haven't really got as much done in the house as we would have liked to. And we have been focusing on the inside of the house because some of you will remember the house was not in a good state of repair when we moved in. We were not wind and watertight, and we moved in February, so it was snowing and all sorts. And we had to put a lot of time and energy into just getting the place habitable enough, you know, so that all the leaks were fixed and we could maintain some sort of temperature. There was, at one point, there was a 7-degree difference. Now that's in Celsius, not in Fahrenheit. There was a 7-degree difference between our utility room and our kitchen. Because the utility room, you might as well just have been standing outside. It was very, very cold. Like, you know, there's like rotten windows, and the panes of glass were covered over with plastic. Someone had sellotaped plastic in front of them and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, we spent quite a lot of time and effort on that just to get ourselves to a point where we would be relatively warm until the spring months sort of rolled round. So we've not, decor wise, we've not really got an awful lot done at all, and I was kind of hoping to press on a bit more and be a bit further on than I am now, but obviously lockdown ruined that for me. So yeah, we're kind of having to hang fire now because we do have tradesmen coming to do a few bits and bobs, like tiling the utility room. That's a really big job, so that's not something I really want to do myself, if I'm perfectly honest. On this underside here, I'm going to kind of match this up with some of these, like the undersides of these toadstools, rather than the underside of this one. So I'm just popping down a little bit of that camel there, and I've got the hazelnut brown here. And I'm just going to put a little tickle of that in. And I'm not going to be too precious about it, it's just to give it that little bit of a difference, because these sort of top parts I will go the same colour as the toadstools. Yeah, so I've got a couple of tradesmen who they're like working through their pre-COVID like waiting list, and I'm not able to get like with Tyler to come until like the end of August, and that was like 4 or 5 weeks ago that I spoke to him initially. So it's a long wait, but it will be worth it, hopefully. Hopefully, she says. It's very slow, but I've just resigned myself to the fact that this is going to be a marathon and not a sprint. So nothing really exciting. Our little toilet's finished now that we have our succulent paintings up, and we have one piece of artwork to go up in our lounge, or like what I call it, our living room, and that room will be complete as well. So at least we've got 2 finished, which is nice. But I was hoping to have like most of the downstairs done by now. But Mr. Jem and I were talking, and we've decided that if we can get the downstairs finished by the turn of the year, that we will be doing incredibly well, and we should be proud of that. So we'll see what happens after harvest and see how much we can get through. These ones are pretty teeny tiny in here, so I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on these stalks. I'm just kind of like adding a bit of texture to them more than anything else. And we've got these ones over here to do, and again they're kind of like behind everything, so these bits down here are definitely going to be dark. You know, there's no two ways about that. So I'm just going to kind of not block that in, but darken that down a fair amount. Get some of this in here. Maybe get a wee bit of gold on the go as well. There's something in behind there as well. I think that might be green, whatever it is. That's the thing, when you get to this stage with these kind of pages, you start to see all the kind of like little pernickety bits and all the patches you've missed and stuff. You know, as the page becomes less white and more coloured pencil. I keep thinking like, oh, how did I miss that? I know exactly how I missed it, because there's about a bajillion things going on in this page. Fun. Yeah, Yeah, so in the wake of not being able to get the downstairs decorated, I have been working away in one of the rooms upstairs. Okay, I'm just going to switch over to, I have got a set of 3 green pencils here, and it's spearmint, emerald and forest green. And I'm just using this trio of pencils to do the sort of foreground greenery that's not coloured in yet. So again, I'm just going to start at this right hand side, and I've got the spearmint here. Yes, so one of the things I have been working on upstairs is what is our games room. It does have a bed in it, it is a spare bedroom, but it's a very big room. And we've kind of made that into the place where we go to have some fun. So we've got a dartboard up on the wall, we've got the bookcases full of books. And I've started unpacking my vintage games consoles, and I came across my Nintendo collection the other night. So I now have my Nintendo, my Super Nintendo and my N64 all hooked up, and it's an absolute delight. So I've mostly been playing Mario Kart and Street Fighter 2 Turbo in all its 8-bit glory. Oh no, sorry, 16-bit glory. So yeah, that's been fun. I'm enjoying that. Mr. Jem decided he was going to start playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skateboarder last night. Mr. Jem's not a huge gamer. There is some things that he'll play, but he's not, I wouldn't say he's like hardcore gamer like me. And he started playing Tony Hawk last night, and I was in absolute stitches because he got so serious about it and he got really competitive, and he kept saying, just one more go. And he was there till like 11:30 at night saying, just one more go. Eventually I left him to get on with it and I went to bed. It's like, good for you, darling, I'll see you when you come to bed. That was quite funny. It always makes me laugh when he's like that. But he tries to tell me that he's not a competitive person. He is a competitive person. We're both competitive. We both used to play darts, but not together, if that makes sense. Like our dart playing history wasn't forged together. We both played when we were students, before we'd met. So it's quite nice to have a shared, I wouldn't say interest, a shared hobby that we, that's from before, if you get what I mean, before we became a couple, because we don't have a lot of things like that because we've been together quite a long time. So yeah, we both realised that we were very rusty. And our first round of darts didn't go so well, but I won. And needless to say, Mr. Jem hasn't wanted to play darts with me since. I mean, it was awful. It was really, I knew I was going to be bad, because it's been a long time since I've played, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Oh, how wrong I was. Okay, so we've got these little fronds here. So I'm just going to use the forest green on these, and I'm just going to give this a tickle all the way round here like this. And like this. Just making sure I haven't missed any more. And we've got these ones attached to this little flower over on this side here, but we'll get those in just a wee minute. I've not really had an awful lot of time to watch YouTube. I haven't watched an art video on YouTube for weeks and weeks and weeks. I've not had that space to sit down. If I've been doing something art related, I'm usually like multitasking. I'm trying to do something else alongside it. So for that reason, I usually don't have YouTube videos on when I'm doing that. Like just recently, I have been arting and like editing videos at the same time, or uploading videos, or that kind of thing. So there has definitely been a degree of multitasking going on. And I would really like a weekend just to sit down and watch some YouTube videos. That's kind of like all I want to do with myself right now, but there's just not an option for that at the moment. Right, if we move over here to this one now, I want this differentiation. This stem seems to come out of where this you know, this sort of splits off, and I kind of want that a different colour, so I'm thinking I'm going to make this pale spearmint colour. And I'll maybe add in a little bit of emerald, so again, just a really light layer of this. And I'll take the emerald and I'll just pop in a little bit of that. I don't want to make it like really stripy, but I suppose that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. And then we'll darken that down there. Oh, I went outside the lines. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, that looks alright. Okay, and then down here I think we'll go whole hog. So we'll start with the spearmint. I really like that colour, it's nice. And I'll take this emerald and I'll just keep a medium pressure, but I'll bring that part of the way up, I think. And then maybe just put a little like accent down there. And then I can go back with this spearmint. Want my little birdie friends back. Been quite quiet this last 10-15 minutes. They were obviously away doing something. We're also very quiet for dogs today as well. That's because I ran the legs off them just before I started filming. It's quite warm outside today, and including the little Jack Russell, she wanted to go out as well, so I made sure that they were as exercised as they could be, and it didn't take long, say, because it's quite warm today. So now they are all sleeping in their various spots round the downstairs. I've got the boy behind me on the floor and he's just lying stretched out and his back foot's twitching, so he's he's gone. I'm assuming that the girls are in the sunroom. That seems to be Pip's favourite spot now. She likes to. She's picked a section of the sofa that we bought to put in there, so I've just started putting a blanket down on it, and she likes to lie there with her chin up on the armrest, which looks out into the hallway, so she's kind of like watching what's going on, but she likes to sleep there, and Tilly quite likes to cuddle in beside her, so just leave them to it. Okay, for these leaves down here now, I feel like I'm not in a good spot at any point. Oh yeah, for these leaves down here I'm going to skip out the spearmint and I'm going to start with the emerald and then use the forest green as well. And that's something that you'll notice, like most of the videos that I do, I don't use like really complicated colour combinations. It's often just 2 or 3 pencils, and that to me, especially when you're working on something as big as this, that's plenty, you know, that's loads to be getting on with, and you really don't need to make it more complicated for yourself, unless you want to, of course, that's a different story. But if you're just looking at colouring as just a way to relax and pass some time, you know, you can get some really nice effects with 2 pencil and 3 pencil colouring. And I think a lot of the time there's no need to do much more than that. So these are going to be darker down at the base here, down at the roots and behind our little birdie's tail. I'd also like to say thank you to Eileen for colouring in her bird strawberry colours. That made me so happy the other day. She left me a message on the Colour Cave Facebook page to tell me that she'd coloured her bird in strawberry colours, and it looks amazing. I was really happy. Thanks, Eileen. It was very cool. There we go, just get some colour in here. You can see that forest green's really rich, it's nice. I like it. And then I've got my emerald again, and I can just touch up a few areas here. Right, excellent. Righto, we're going to start with our little beetle friend down here. There are 3 altogether. There's 2 on this page and 1 on this page, and I've already done the one on that side. That was like my practice run, my test run if you like. So the colours that I've got here, I'm starting with Storm Grey. And this is a rather nice shade. And what I've found is that a lot of the colours that we've used are quite similar in saturation, so I wanted to get some really nice contrast. So I've picked some quite dark colours to do these beetles with. I have a great big fat beetle that's living in my doorway in my kitchen just now. This is like the door to the outside, and I think that's kind of what's prompted this. It's what's inspired him, because he's a big fat juicy black beetle. So so rather than using black, which is quite severe, this dark grey is quite a nice sort of substitute. So I am going to colour all of these limbs in solidly with this, and when I'm finished I'm going to take a really fine Posca pen and just put tiny little highlights on them, like on the limbs, I mean, just to, you know, just to make it look that little bit more interesting. I'd love to know where he's going, this little guy. I tell you, I don't know if he's going up to meet his gnomey friend here. Who knows? There we go. He's on his way up. Now for the top sections of his legs, I've got 2 colours and they look quite close together, but they're actually not. I've got deep teal and ocean blue, and the ocean blue is slightly lighter, so I'm using that. It's just like a mini gradient. And this is just to add a pop of colour to our little beetles. Everybody else is really bright and cheery in this, so it would be nice if our little beetle friend wasn't left out, because I would be sad for him if he was left out. I would be sad for him. I don't know whether to ignore some of this patterned area or not, so I'm back to my storm pencil here. And I just want to create some sort of dimension to a little beetle friend. So I'm going to take this deep teal now, and I'm going to blend it in with that storm colour. That's probably enough to be getting on with, if I'm honest. And just using a black pencil, I'm going to colour his eyes in just completely black. Again, I'll maybe grab the white pen, the Posca pen. I don't know if I'll be able to make that tiny a dot, but I shall try. Right, okay, so back to Storm again. And this is quite an intricate looking beetle compared to the one I've already done. And it's probably going to get a little bit fiddly, but we'll see. So again, when I'm doing this, I'm just thinking about where that light source is coming from. It's mostly coming from the top and slightly to the left. So we want our lighter areas to reflect that, no pun intended. So I'll pop some of this in here. Maybe put a little bit more storm in there. I don't really know what to do with this section here. I think I'm just going to ignore this sort of back segment. And I'm just going to fill that in as if that wasn't there. Like this. I'm having to concentrate to do this. This is a lot. And then just up against this sort of centre line here, a slightly more vibrant colour. And then I'm going to go back to storm down this side. Build this up a bit in the corner. And this is obviously more the underside. There we go. We've got this deep teal. I'm trying to avoid the spots. I am trying to avoid the spots. But that is easier said than done. This is really fiddly. So let's grab the ocean blue. And I'm using this so lightly. So lightly. Oh. Okay, great. He's looking very Beetle-esque. So I've got the emerald here now, and I am just going to use that alongside this storm grey. And this is going to go in these slightly more sort of decorative parts. So I'm just quick going to colour those in. Like so, and then just add in like a wee touch of the storm and spots. There we are, he's looking quite handsome, isn't he? I do want him to have a wee bit of shadow under his bum there. Yeah, there we go, that's better. Under some of his feet there as well. Oops, that was maybe a bit heavy-handed. There we go. Looks as if he's going to take a good old hike up there to see his gnomey pal. Right, let's move up here to this one. And we're pretty much going to do the same sort of thing with him. He has an equally annoying pattern on him, but we'll see how we go. The key to doing sections like this is just to make sure you keep your pencils really sharp, because that's what's going to cause you any issues if you do have issues. So I am using a medium pressure here because I'm basically just block colouring these. If you've got a nice sharp point, then it's easy for you to fill in really tight spaces like this without too much hassle. I'll come round here. Ooh. And we'll do the same with his legs, so we'll have these sections all dark and then just the kind of joining, like what I would say is the shoulder joint, and we'll do those in those bluey green colours because they're quite nice and just makes them look like interesting beetles. But you can see what I mean about the contrast and about them standing out next to everything else that's going on. You know, this dark colour is really good, and I was going to have to do it with something at some point, and I figured because there was as many beetles I might as well have used it on them. And there we go. Again, I'm just going to do his little eyes, little beady eyes in actual black. Actual black. So where the light's hitting him in the direction that he's facing in, the pale part's going to be right down the middle, which is quite interesting. So that makes things a wee bit easier as well. I've got my ocean blue. I think I'm just going to go with the deep teal on the antenna here because there's not a lot of room. And the same with these little shoulder connectors. I wonder what they're actually called. Don't know. I'm calling them shoulder connectors because we don't actually have even from the point of view of blending this out, we don't have a lot of space, and I don't want it to end up looking muddy because we're trying to cram in as many pencils as possible. So that's just never going to go too well. There we go. Yeah, so I think we'll just stick with this deep teal. That's a good idea. Bring this in a bit. Again, try and remain relatively light-handed. Bring that down there. Okay. I think we'll just do the same. I will avoid those little spots down there, though we will make those green. But I think we'll just work away with this again. Not two colours you would ever think to blend together either. Well, certainly two colours that I wouldn't think to blend together. But it gives you quite an interesting effect. Now, I dare say we could probably be a bit braver with this storm grey and bring it in a wee bit further. There we go. And I've got my emerald green here. I'm just going to pop that in there. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Alright. Okay. I'll have a wee zoom out now, see what kind of stage we're at. We're looking pretty good. Okay. Our little beetle friends just slotted right in there, quite the thing. We've got all our greenery done. Oh no, I've missed a green part here. Where's this forest green? That'll be fine. Yeah, so for our final video, next time we will tackle all the little bits we've missed. So the centres of the flowers, these kind of middle parts, and these foreground mushrooms, our butterfly, and we shall then finish off our gnomes as the full stop at the end of the sentence, and that will conclude our page. In the meantime, I'll carry on and do a little bit more over this side so that when we come to do our last video, this side is already complete and we'll be able to close the book and move on to a new colouring project. So I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had a relaxing time today. If you have made it this far, you've obviously enjoyed yourself. So if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be amazing. I'm kind of saying it's like the YouTube equivalent of giving me a cuddle, and I do like a cuddle, so I'd really appreciate that. In the meantime, stay safe, look after each other, and we'll see you back in the cave on Sunday for another video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.